Sorry, let me okay, we're good. So what were you saying? Sorry.
Yeah, so from architecture point of view, everything is tricky, I would say. So we have a customers portal. This is the core application and heart of our billing system.
Yep, C dot.
It
Okay.
manages pretty much everything that touches or handles any aspect of the billing system.
Okay.
Subscriptions, add-ons, and so on and so on and so on. So we have been working on the AI platform, and in order to monetize it properly, we would like to charge our customers based on what they use our AI platform for. For instance, amount of tokens they use for per workflow, or let's say number of autocomplete options, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, because the customers dot is written in Ruby on Rails, some team members raise concerns about its scalability. And to keep its scope to the billing system only, we also have a data insights platform. This is a service that is written in Go, which basically serves as an entry point for ingesting, aggregating, and what else? Of all kind of events.
Yeah.
So in the future, that will be a single platform for collecting all kind of telemetry metrics.
Okay.
Then we have the core of our AI platform. This is AI Gateway, which basically calls LLM under the hood. And when we have consumers, this is basically everything that anything that sends a request to the AI gateway. It's like a VS Code instance or self-managed instance or GitLab.com or whatever it could be. Uh, Currently, it works like this. For instance, a customer triggers a do overflow from their VS Code instance.
Yep.
We receive this request on the AI gateway, then we send an e-usage
Event.
event to the data insights platform, then customers dot processes these events and charges our customers for a metric that we defined previously. For instance, amount of tokens that we use per workflow per month.
Makes sense. Okay.
So this is like a high level overview how it works
Mhm.
currently.
Okay. And so like let's say a customer wants to deploy AI gateway to self-managed. I'm assuming they would still need to set up some configuration to send the telemetry events to the data insights platform. Is that correct?
Um,
Or
it
that
depends.
hasn't been thought through yet?
Yeah, so it depends. If a customer wants to use our cloud features, they have to use our AI gateway. But if they want to bring their own API keys, they can host their AI gateway in their infrastructure,
Mhm.
and then we basically won't be billing them for any feature that they use
Gotcha.
because we don't provide them any AI feature.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
like they brought their own infrastructure, so
Yeah, they rolled their own AI gateway. So the plan is if they roll their own AI gateway or something, right, then we wouldn't charge them necessarily for it.
yes, correct.
Okay. That makes sense. So the wrench that I'm gonna throw, so this makes sense. I already gave this kind of a look, but now it makes way more sense high level. And the AWS, the AWS versus GCP, those are different, I'm assuming, correct? Um,
Uh, yes. So basically, we try to We try at least to make the usage billing feature independent as much as we can do. So, for instance, we try to see if we can bring the dedicated runners um, into the scope of a usage billing feature. And because all dedicated instances run in AWS, uh, we require to deploy something there as well. So that's why the mediation layer, which collects, aggregates, and processes all usage events,
Yeah.
lives in our infrastructure.
Yeah.
But the rest of components like AI gateway can be deployed independently. As long as they emit events, we should be good, and we can charge our customers.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
consider that we are like a provider agnostic in that case.
Okay. Um, so can I show you the what we're thinking for the architecture for knowledge graph, and you can let me know what might be possible, might be a blocker. How does that sound?
Yeah,
Uh,
that sounds great. Yeah.
let me because this is what I wanted to pick your brain about. Let me go back. Um, Let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see it. Um, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see it even more. So how it's going to work. So we're still working on the deployment strategy, right? Because there's this whole like segmenting for cloud native versus not cloud native. It's going to be deployed. The knowledge graph service at a high level is most likely going to be deployed in a K8's environment for even self-managed. So with that, the architecture roughly looks like you have the Rails instance here. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the Rails instance basically kicks off tasks. It has like a task table, if you will. And the service, um, in a kind of a glorified way, for each heartbeat, pulls the tasks and takes those tasks and starts ingesting to index the data. And so the knowledge graph at a high level is basically taking a simple example would be a branch push event and receiving that task into the K8's cluster and fetching the repository via Gitly using the connection, right? And this is all behind, none of this, a lot of the endpoints and communication is all behind, either behind the Rails instance or internal, like it's not publicly accessible to the user. And so it'll fetch the Gitly data and run the indexing and generate a graph database, for that particular project. And then the user can run MCP tool calls, and it can be used for a bunch of other features throughout even the Rails instance itself, or like directly via MCP tool calls. Does that make sense so far at a high level?
Yep. Yeah, it makes.
Okay. And so the other thing is that for now, everything, all the endpoints are going to go through Rails. So just this is what the code graph querying aspect would look like. So basically, you have Rails. It'll go ahead and do the indexing. So this is the indexing. And then when the user goes and gets MCP tools, I'm sure you're familiar with MCP tools.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll go ahead and grab the MCP tools. It has the params, etc. And then when it goes to actually make a tool call, it'll do a lookup in Rails. I talked to somebody from auth yesterday on like how this might fit into a future auth service. But I don't know how much that would overlap with billing. But either way, basically what happens is like you have a simple one, like get definitions for a code file. That's something that Knowledge Graph it has a feature for. The params would be, project path, the search string, or the directory, and it'll look up the project, check if the user has access, and if, of course, the user has do enabled for the project, all that stuff. And then once it makes it through everything, it'll actually facilitate the query against the knowledge graph service. Um,
Mhm.
so my question is, um, and so self-managed, right? That they would need to spin up this infrastructure themselves, but maybe the two questions here is there might be customers that would want to be okay with hosting their knowledge graph in the cloud. Maybe there is. I don't know what the population segment is. I met with Fabian, Andrew Newdigate. I don't know if you know them, and Martin from I think it's the delivery side. And they said it's like a mix, but most self-managed customers would prefer to roll the infra themselves. So the question here is like if it's a possibility, basically to see is it possible with this current architecture that we could integrate it into a usage-based billing model where you spin up the knowledge graph service and you do X number of queries or something like that, and we charge for that. Or I don't know. Again, I don't know what it'd look like in the self-managed scenario. I'm sure on .com it might be a little bit easier depending on like I'm assuming like the GKG service would send the events similar to AI Gateway.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts there. Makes sense so far, or any questions?
No, everything makes sense.
Okay.
So regarding, I think we need to ask ourselves the question, which component costs the most here in
Hmm.
this architecture scheme, and
Hmm.
probably we can see if we can charge our customers based on resources that this service uses. For instance, we have a vector DB there, so we can say charge based on its size.
Yeah.
So answering to a question, it's more like what part of this approach we would like to monetize.
Hmm.
And then we can just hook into any component, emit events. Of
Hmm.
course, with a self-managed, there is a possibility uh, when customer like tries to hijack the request and send um,
Yeah, like not
some
sending.
in yeah
Yeah.
send the invalid amount or something else. So we need to think how to prevent such cases. But overall, yeah, I think any part, uh, most parts of this approach could be uh, charged based on what customers use.
Hmm. Yeah, as long as we can hook in, it's similar to AI Gateway, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
so uh, generally speaking, we try to make a usage billing more like a platform to ensure that if we want to bill something else, we just go to customers that we define a billable metric for it.
hmm.
And billable metric defines how we aggregate and what we extract from usage events, and
Hmm.
how do we map them into
From the stream.
the GitLab credits, and then we can define how do we bill.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Is there like a certain API that this would talk to? Like, what does AI Gateway talk to today? Does it send requests to a certain
Um,
platform or
so this is still an open question because one of the hard requirements for usage billing is to have an ability to hard cut off the customers who exhausted all of their credits.
credits? Gotcha.
And yeah, and to make this possible, we need something that we control, that we own, And second thing, um, we need to be closer to the resource that our customers use, which means that we need something on the AI gateway level. And currently, we emit events in a snowplow format. This is a limitation from the Data Insights platform, but they are looking into extending um, possible formats for events like cloud events specification,
Yeah.
or probably like a custom JSON or something. Um, so um, and another requirement, which is connected to the cutting off access of customers, is to validate that they have enough credits. Pre-order requests goes like to LLM, for instance.
Mhm.
And for that, we're going to build an API on the customer's side, and we still don't know the details
Yeah.
of this API endpoint because um, I basically wrote a proposal just yesterday,
Okay.
and the team behind the AI gateway is looking into it.
So the AI gateway would like take the customer ID or something like that and do a lookup against customer dot.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it
pretty
for
much.
getting out of
So,
credit?
because the leadership wants to have this feature available basically to every team in GitLab, we try to we set an internal goal for us that we want to provide some kind of an instrumentation and documentation for any team, so they can open the documentation, add some kind of an SDK or something, and start charging customers based on their
Gotcha.
usage.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good. Can you link me that proposal after this call, if you don't mind? Just so I can link it whenever I, post the research.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that makes sense. So for cloud, it would follow the similar model, which is great. And then for dedicated, I guess also similar model. But for self-managed, it might be hairy because we'd have to figure out how to handle request hijacking, or they just block network traffic from external
Yeah,
network traffic or something.
yeah, and this is like one of the this problem is something that we try to help to resolve with other teams, because usually when a team tries to monetize their own service, the team who owns the service knows more about it. So that's why our goal is just to provide some instruments, documentation, and then it's up to the team to decide how they can prevent such cases like hijacking requests.
Okay. That makes sense. Maybe it could follow like a similar thing like licensing or something. I don't know. Like I know enterprise, like when you set up GitLab, right? You get a license key,
Mm-hmm.
self-managed for enterprise edition or ultimate. Maybe it could follow something similar, like it needs a license key or something. I don't know. Um, or like you had to have, you know, this license enabled. Um,
Yeah, there are different ways to prevent that.
okay. Okay, cool. If you have any ideas on like from what you've seen with from other teams on, preventing that, that's more like like implementation details and stuff that we'd have to
Mm-hmm.
handle when we get in there. But if you have experiences with other teams where they thought through that, that would be also really helpful. Um, but
So I know that, for instance, the team behind the dedicated instances,
mhm,
initially they try to prevent that by emitting events from runners itself and publishing those events into a S3 bucket, which is we own. So customers do not have an access there at all.
yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. So yeah, that's great. Hopefully it should be simple if that's what they want to go with. I'm just getting all the options out there, getting the information so people can make decisions on what they think.
Yeah, that's great. But we receive requests from other teams that they want to start using the usage billing feature. So we're looking um, into all possible options how we can provide the, like the smooth experience for teams to integrate that feature.
All right. Sounds good. That's it on my side. That's all basically I need to know high level. Um, yeah, anything on your side that you would maybe have a question on or
I think no, at least as of now. I'm trying to find the link for you.
okay,
I think I should have it. Oh yeah, found it. Um, okay, let me just copy the link. Okay, here we go.
perfect. Design doc. Awesome. This is great.
Yeah, you can actually check that repo as well because the design doc repo is our single source of truth for all kind of technical documentation about the usage billing feature.
Okay. This is great. Yeah, this will really help. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Italy. Um, here I'll end
Yeah,
the
no problem.
me in the recording.